Hi guys, should you sell your car now or keep it till next year? Or should you buy a used car this year? The experts have spoken, and it seems that the only certainty is that there is no certainty. And as for EVs, keep your plug sockets ready. Meanwhile, there might be some ex-ULEZ camera vans coming up for sale, I reckon, considering what's been going on with them. Just make sure that they have brand new tires before you consider buying any of them. A story out this week revealed what happened when one turned up in Biggin Hill. Meanwhile, those topless sightseeing buses in London, they're having their old diesel engines switched out for, you guessed it, batteries and electric motors. More on all of this right after this.
A brown car guy. Brown car guy.
So believe it or not, despite the fact that used prices or used car prices have been rocketing over the last couple of years, it seems that there could be even further rises next year. Now, this is based on a report in Car Dealer magazine. At least one expert is claiming that used car prices may actually finish 2024 higher than they do at the end of this year, 2023. Of course, prices of used cars are already way higher than the norm. In fact, they're up nearly 40% compared to pre-pandemic prices. Why? Well, of course, it was all down to the surge of demand post-pandemic, which I actually predicted in a video during the lockdown. And then, of course, there was the shortage of supply, basically down to there not being enough new cars coming into the market. A, because factories had pretty much shut down, and B, when they did start back up, there were massive component supply issues, chiefly shortage of semiconductors or computer chips, if you like. A typical new car needs around 1,500 of those, at least, with some of the top luxury cars requiring as many as 3,000 of these in order to make them work. Now, the fact that car production was scaled back drastically during 2020 meant that the ripple effect of those shutdowns is now about to hit the used car market. Darren Martin, the director of valuations for CAP HPI, which monitors trade prices in the market, warns that over 2.3 million cars went missing from the market due to the reduced car sales in the pandemic. Those would normally be coming onto the used market at 3 to 5 year olds, so starting about next year. This could translate to significantly reduced used car supplies, and as a result, he predicts that used car prices in 2024 would end up around 1 to 2% higher than they are this year in 2023. And that's because demand still has not abated. In fact, Nathan Coe, Auto Trader CEO, has noted a surge in consumer interest. Despite economic concerns like the cost of living and rising interest rates, Auto Trader hasn't seen a drop in the number of people shopping for used cars. In fact, Auto Trader recorded a 14% increase in users this August compared to August last year. But Auto Trader confirms that there will be further massive shortages of used cars, predicting nearly 40% fewer 3 to 5 year old cars will be available by the end of 2024. So this means that whilst many of us have been suggesting, or should I say hoping, that the car market would normalize next year, in fact, used car prices will continue to fluctuate, and actually they might end up higher. Or will they? Mark Oakley, director of AA Cars, is optimistic that we won't see the kind of price hikes that we've experienced in recent years. His data suggests that there was a nearly 2% drop in the price of popular used cars in the UK for the first 2 quarters of 2023 this year, and he expects that trend to continue. I guess time will tell, but what we have seen this year is that electric cars buck the trend and actually are big value, big time in some cases. There's a few different reasons for this, but it seems to have primarily started with a price war that was instigated by Tesla at the beginning of the year when they slashed up to £8,000 off some of their models. Of course, other manufacturers had to follow suit, despite the fact that this really chewed into their quite small profit margins when it comes to EVs. So EV prices are continuing to fall. And over the past 9 months, the used EV market has seen significant price drops, some as much as 50% according to trade industry experts. And there are still many concerns for motorists when it comes to EVs. They are worried about the cost of purchase, the cost of public charging, the cost of energy, and of course now the drops in the residual value of the car. Yet many new EVs are now filtering into the used market because of course they were new and now they're coming into the used market. So experts believe that these price falls could even accelerate. So where does that leave you? Well, if you're thinking of selling a car, wait till next year. If you're thinking of buying, it might be wise to pull the trigger before spring 2024. But if you're after an EV, wait a bit and you could bag yourself a bargain of an electric dream. Having said that, this could all change again very soon as the car market turmoil continues to surprise. So stay tuned and I'll keep keeping you updated.
Brown car guy.
Hey, have you ever been a tourist in central London? And then if you have, then you may well have taken a joyride on one of these open-top sightseeing buses. Well, they might be about to get a little bit quieter, and that's not because the tour guides have lost their voices. Big Bus Tours that runs them is teaming up with Equipmake to give 10 of their double-decker buses an electric conversion. The Ankai buses are trading in their old diesel engine for Equipmake's zero-emission drivetrain ZED technology. This gives them a 327 kilowatt-hour battery with a range of over 120 miles, which if you think about it, should be plenty as these buses just drive around central London in stop-go traffic, which should actually make great use of the regen braking to recover electric energy. And remember, this is where EVs are great for busy city driving. Obviously, they're quiet, so they don't add to their noisy surrounds. Similarly, there's no tailpipe emissions because there's no tailpipe. So the city air is a little cleaner as a result. And this sort of stop-go driving actually makes best use of the regen technology and can actually increase the range. So you could go further for free. And while large vehicles are a struggle with long distances for EVs, it's always a little bit of a problem, but because of the sheer weights involved. But with these buses, because they're sightseeing buses and they're just doing these short routes in busy city traffic, and of course they operate on a hop-on, hop-off basis, then this could actually be a prime example of using the right technology in the right situation. They also have Equipmake's patented ultra-efficient thermal management system, which maintains all three of the ZED's key components. That's the battery pack, the motor, and the inverter, and it keeps them at optimum operating temperatures, so that also maximizes the vehicle's range. Now, this features an advanced water glycol cooling circuit. Now, this system has the added benefit of providing interior heating during cold conditions with the captured thermal energy, which, you know, is kind of important to keep visitors to London warm when it's cold, which is most of the time. Now, they've even simulated the route to make sure that the batteries they've installed in these things are good enough to complete a day's worth of ferrying sightseers around. And then they can be recharged overnight at the depot via CSS DC charging point. Apparently, they're also saving a whopping 90 tons of CO2 per bus. To be fair, it's not a bad idea to convert existing buses rather than buying brand new electric ones. So I guess it all kind of adds to the sustainability in London, doesn't it? Now, the first of these converted electric buses should be taking tourists around the city in early 2024.
Brown car guy.
Oh, so this is rather amusing. When one of those horrid ULEZ mobile camera vans turned up in Biggin Hill in southeast London, the local residents were having none of it. This was reported in the Daily Mail. So when one of the mayor's mobile spy vans quietly rode onto Sunningvale Avenue, it was met with quite a reception as a bunch of, shall we say, concerned citizens turned up and took it upon themselves to ensure that the camera van didn't overstay its welcome. One passionate local held up a bright yellow high visibility jacket to block out the camera's view, and he told the van's crew it's wrong and deep down you know it's wrong. Another one told them the working man's had enough, time to move along. Now, given this overwhelming show of hospitality, the ULEZ crew decided to wrap up their little excursion earlier than planned, and their retreat was seen off with cheers and claps of victory. But judging by all the videos and photos that are appearing online with these vans, these vans are clearly having a tough time out there finding anywhere to park even. In fact, I think that in Orpington, I think they even got parking tickets. Now, ordinary people, what they're doing is they're either blocking the cameras with signs, or in some cases they're using their own vehicles. And indeed, one person, his car apparently just happened to break down in front of this camera, and bizarrely the tailgate somehow just got stuck up in the up position, and that was blocking the camera's view. I mean, what are the chances of something like that happening? Some others have simply just stood behind these vans, holding up a sign in front of the cameras. And in some cases, the vans are actually getting graffitied and having their tires slashed. Plus, there have been reports of dinosaurs roving the streets of London. And of course, when they turn up near one of these vans, their bulk obviously, unfortunately, obscures the camera's view too. It's inevitable. I guess you got to feel for the guys who operate these vans a bit, as, you know, they've just been tasked with the shittiest job in the world, haven't they? And they may not even understand how and why ULEZ is impacting ordinary people and why people are so angry. So I would suggest pointing them to my fact file, Everything You Need to Know About ULEZ, which you can find on browncarguy.com, or just point them to one of the ULEZ playlists on this channel. Beware though, the police are aware of what's been going on, and they have confirmed that their intention is to investigate and take action. And of course, Transport for London isn't exactly going to relent, not when there's money to be made. So of course, I cannot condone or encourage any attempts to interfere with such vehicles, and genuinely, any acts of vandalism or physical damage of any kind. By the way, this just popped into my feed somehow. Apparently there is a sale at Amazon on the Jashke inflatable dinosaur costume. It's been reduced from £49 to £29.99. There may or may not be a link in the description below. I just thought I'd mention that. I just noticed it. Anyway, I'll see you all in the next video.
Brown car guy.
Hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, please hit the like button and share this video as well if you can. And while you're at it, check out these guys who also sponsor my content. I am deeply grateful to them because it helps me to buy new equipment, put fuel in the cars, and yes, buy a cup of coffee. You can do the same. Just go here or right here on YouTube. Just hit these three little dots down here and click on thanks. Make sure you're signed in first. My content is free, but this is how you can help me keep it that way. I may even send you a gift. Oh, by the way, watch this next.